Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is Commissar here, and the summer has arrived, which leaves me available to do a little bit more casting, it appears. Okay, so today's match is going to be a pretty cool match to get things started yet again, and it is going to feature Liquid HerO and Liquid Ret. Today's match is actually the first match of a best-of-3 series, all of which I intend to be casting tonight, which is a pretty exciting news for me, because being able to get an uncast match between two top-tier players as a way to sort of, triumphantly return to the scene of StarCraft commentating on my own little channel is pretty cool for me. So anyway, today you'll be seeing Liquid HerO, of course, whose recent results include success at this tournament from which this replay is from. We do have a, best of 3 today, and it is indeed from the group stages of DreamHack, the recent DreamHack that has just happened. And of course you did very well, I just said that, but the group stage is of course a different story from the whole thing. 3 out of 6 players did advance from each group, and both of these two players did indeed take out wins in their respective groups. So HerO, of course, is looking pretty good. He recently won an little IPL thing against Don Regu. He won $5,000, a 4-player IPL tournament to do with a fight club sort of thing. But it wasn't the IPL Fight Club, it was a different thing called Fight Club. Anyway, he won $5,000 there. That was pretty cool. He also came 3rd in the WCS Asia. That of course means, basically, he's one of the best players in Asia. He didn't, that's not the global finals or anything, that's just the Asian tournament only, where he did again win a couple $1,000 and a seed into the World Finals in Shanghai, where he didn't do quite as well, but he still placed quite nicely. Anyway, so Ret, meanwhile, has also had a lot of success lately of his own, and he has gone pull first this game, which I don't like, against a player who's going Nexus first. You'd think these two players as teammates would know each other's playstyles quite well, and it seems like Ret has made a bit of a mistake by going for this pull. Although, of course, the pull just might have been an instinct against HerO. It may just be that he was mixing it up this game. But importantly about Ret, his recent results include an NASL Season 3 4th place rather, where he won $5,000 for himself. So both of these players winning a bit of prize money lately, and the NASL is no small tournament. It's a pretty big damn deal, and Ret did exceptionally well to place 3rd. As such, both of these players, you'd argue, in very good form at the moment, and that should make for a good series. Okay, so we do indeed see HerO taking gas geysers right now, taking double gas geysers in fact. He is constructing quite a nice wall in here. The one weakness, of course, being that this pylon is part of the wall, it can be baneling busted potentially. That's a fairly low risk. It very rarely happens. Tends to be easy to hold, in my experiences. Anyway, so over at Ret Space, we do indeed see the quick 3rd down at about 4 minutes, which is about as quick as 3rds get in most cases. And HerO doing a little bit of cute micro trying to escape from these lings, and it looks like he has succeeded. He split the lings up quite skillfully there, as I believe Ret just had that probe on right click, like just attack command. The lings on the probe, that is. Okay, so meanwhile over in the base of Ret, we do see the first queens are on the way. Of course, nothing too exciting yet, as he is indeed gearing up for a longer game. This 3-base play is very effective on Antigua Shipyards, the map today. But the big problem with this map for a player like Ret, for any Zerg player, for any player at all really, but which is especially prominent for a Zerg player, is that Antigua Shipyard is so easy to get 3 bases on, but a 4th base is almost impossible to secure. 3-base plays almost every game, all-ins so common, and often those all-ins include Infested Broodlord, because 3 bases does allow for some pretty sick timings of Infested Broodlord. And the problem for this is that the center of the map is very hard to secure, but due to this high ground in the middle. As such, this base very hard to take control of. Over here, this base is so far away, down here so far away from either player. As such, these bases in the top left, bottom right tend not to be taken in Antigua, and that leads for some very tricky games for Zerg, and I'd say it is indeed a slightly Protoss favored map in this matchup. That said, of course, this matchup has been going very strongly in the way of Zergs in the top tier lately, so I wouldn't say that it's like definite. It's like, so it's not like, oh, I've lost the game if I'm a Zerg. Sorry, if I'm a Zerg and I draw Antigua Shipyards as my map. It's not like that. It's more like, okay, I'm basically going to go for a 3-base push, and it's going to be strong, and I might well win, but I might lose. It's like that. It's just that it's harder to plan for a long 5-base play. Anyway, so in the base of HerO, we do indeed see him getting double gas, slightly oversaturated here actually at the second base rather. And he is indeed mining at the natural before the main, which I always find weird. I've noticed a few players doing this lately, and I don't quite understand why. Generally the main's just safer in case of early pressure, so I do prefer that, just for that sole reason. But of course it's not going to make a huge difference. Gas is going to be taken in the main next, so it's not going to change the outcome of the game, as no push is about to hit from HerO. Although HerO appears to be gearing up for what looks like, well, what do you see? We see Immortals, Sentries, we do see a +1 attack on the way. And we're going to have to watch out to see if he does indeed try to push out after that +1 goes down. He's chucking down 3 more gates, so it looks like we will indeed see a big 2-base push off of HerO, perhaps when this +1 finishes. And yes, it appears to be timed up such that this will be a 7-gate with Immortals, with Sentries. And this will be a pretty strong 2-base play. It will be a a +1 timing. And of course that means that HerO is very unlikely to take his 3rd base. And of course, 3-base plays, like I said, can be Infested Broodlords, and I guess that this just means that HerO is uncomfortable with playing against Infested Broodlord. He just doesn't want to deal with it and goes for a 2-base timing. And why not? It works on this map. You can easily isolate the 3rd base with force fields, but if you get force fields on this ramp, if you get up into this base and then force field the ramp over here, it's pretty easy to snipe the 3rd base in this matchup. So, as such, I'd say, you know, it's a pretty decent shot for HerO, and he is going to lose 1 Stalker, which does hurt him quite a little bit. Quite a bit indeed, and there are going to be a bunch of lings which he is aware of, although this Immortal could get caught out of position here in just a moment, as we do indeed see Ret... Oh, just having that Immortal out of vision. If that was caught, that would have been a disaster for HerO. Fortunately for HerO though, he is pretty safe back at home. He has 2 cannons, not just 1. And of course, while Banelings could do a little bit of damage, there are no Banelings on the field. I don't even think there's a Baneling nest. The big question is though, is Ret ready for a defense here? And he does have a lot of roaches coming out, but are they out in time? It is mostly lings, and the force fields are all being used up here, but it's not baiting. Let's just gonna go for it straight away. And oh, this is a powerful push in by Ret, going in before the reinforcements have time to arrive. But now that they have arrived, it is going to be HerO holding at the initial part of this push. The big thing is though that a lot of force fields were used up in that initial stage. As such, if we get enough reinforcements from Ret, they could be very effective. Lings could indeed make it through in the near future. This way perhaps not, as there are still force fields left. Although it's going to be one Immortal could have been sniped by the roaches, but no, they're not going to go for it yet. But again, the big issue is force fields are being baited. Very few are left, despite the high sentry count. And we are going to see brilliant Warp Prism Micro with those Immortals, and the force field's going to cut off this big group of roaches, and that is going to be a big victory for HerO. Meanwhile, though, the focusing is going down onto the sentries. The sentry count is dwindling slightly, down to a total of 6, I believe, from what was 9 a minute ago. But there is another big warp in of 2 sentries, plus a couple of zealots and a stalker, and that is going to see the army of HerO being vastly superior to the army of Ret. Ret is crumbling under this pressure, as he has still not killed a single Immortal in this push. You can see one of these Immortals has over 20 kills at this stage, and despite the force field energy being low, it appears that HerO has the money to keep this up, and it looks like he will just take this game at this stage, as of course there's just been too much of a HerO, and Ret just wasn't quite ready in time. I mean, what really would have been good from his spines, but at this stage, his 3rd base has gone down, his supply is lower than his opponent's, and you also have to consider in the units tab, he does have 9 more harvesters. What does that mean? That means his army is that much smaller. And we're just going to see basically HerO steamrolling Ret from this point on. Okay, so there's the GG coming out of Ret. He has left the game, and that was a quick game number 1, a pretty smooth victory for HerO. And I would like to say now, I don't expect my commentary to be spot on, as it's been a while, as I'm sure you're all aware. But yeah, expect more, I suppose, in the next few days, as I will be... Yeah, I should be okay to bring more. At this stage, I don't see any barriers to that. They might come up, I'm not entirely sure. But today, Game 1 is going to HerO from a 2-base timing. So a pretty typical game there. 2-base timing is not the funnest thing to watch. Ret didn't really muster up any sort of real defense. What I would have liked to see from him is originally over at this engagement over here, I would have liked to see Ret go for some force field baiting. He just went straight in. I think whenever Zergs just go straight in and try to commit, and they don't have the surface area, they don't have the perfect surround of lings before the single force field drops, chances are it's going to fail. And the brilliant thing about this parting style play here, that HerO used this game, is that the Warp Prisms can pick up any immortals that are about to be sniped. You can micro those sentries, you can save units quite easily. So really, as long as you have energy, you're fine, you're okay, you're safe. As long as you have a Warp Prism and as long as you have a sentry energy, you're okay. And by not baiting force fields, I think that Red just took too much damage in the initial stages to be able to take this game. So of course, it was a bit too late to bait force fields, I suppose, by the time he was over here. But if he'd maybe just tried to poke in a little bit, try and bait those force fields earlier, that would have been his best bet, considering the situation that he was in, which was pretty dire in terms of his army when the initial wave of HerO hit. So that was game number 1. I'm going to go straight into game number 2 right now. I hope you're enjoying this series, and I'll see you